Basically, in my last chapter, okay, last module, we are going to discuss about, we discussed about the very basic idea of measurement of unknown resistances. Okay, so what is the motivations for this AC bridges? Okay, basically, measurement of unknown resistances by using Wheatstone bridge is very common. Okay, but same process we can also use. Okay, for the measurement of unknown impedances. Okay, unknown impedances means it the you all of you know our about the unit of the impedances. Okay, unit of the impedances, you know, that is ohm. Okay, so impedance contains the active component as well as some reactive component. Okay, so you means that impedance contain the resistance, okay, as well as that reactance. Reactance means again reactance having two types of reactance, you know, that is inductive reactance, another one is capacitive reactance. So by this process, okay, by this process we are going to measure the unknown parameters of means unknown parameters like our reactance, like our unknown parameters like our inductance, capacitance, sometimes frequency. Basically problem is that in Wheatstone bridge it is a DC bridge. Okay, so you cannot means you are not able to um, you are not able to measure the AC component like your inductance, capacitance by using DC bridge is not possible. That's why you are going to measure the unknown variables by using the AC bridges. Okay, so in case of AC bridges, what happened? So the basic process is more or less same. Okay, so there are normally four arms. Okay, so you know that by principle of the Wheatstone bridge, normally we are writing like that: P by Q equal to R by S, where P, Q, R are the standard resistance and S is your unknown resistance. Same thing you can implement over here. Okay, so you are replacing P by P by Q equal to R by S. Okay, so P, Q, R are the standard impedance. Okay, so you have to calculate the impedance for individual arm. Okay, for individual arm, then you have to equalize the equations. Means you have to consider that that portions is the equilibrium conditions. Okay, equilibrium conditions means equipotential points. Okay, so where you are considering the null detector, like your Wheatstone bridge. Yesterday class I discussed about the Wheatstone bridge basic idea. So you know some detector are there. Okay, so that detector portions called the null detections, means at balance condition the potentials across the null detector is same. Okay, so there will be no current flowing through that null detector, means null point detection. Okay, so there will be no current flowing through this detector, so there will be no deflections to that meter. So you can say like that, now it is in equilibrium condition, means balance conditions. Okay, that's the motivations for the AC bridge, for finding out the unknown inductance, unknown capacitance, sometimes frequency. But problem is there, but sorry, not problem. Another important issue is there. You know that when you are going to calculate the AC, there are normally two parts. One is amplitude part, another one is argument part, means angular portions. Okay, so in this AC bridges concept, okay, both the consideration, both of the idea you have to opt. Okay, means you have to calculate in the terms of amplitude as well as in the terms of argument or angle. Okay, that both the thing you have to consider. Okay, so and another consideration is there, that is selections of the null detector. Okay, that AC means you know that it's based on the frequency. Okay, how much switching frequencies are there, how much sorry, not switching frequency, how much system frequency is there. Okay, based on the system frequency you have to select the detector. Okay, so that is given here. So what is the basic idea about the bridge? Okay, so the alternating current. Okay, so normally we are using alternating current bridges are most popular and convenient and accurate instruments for the measurement of unknown inductance. Okay, so that I am telling that unknown inductance, okay, capacitance and some other related quantity like frequency. Okay, means you know that what is the basically impedance matching. Here we are doing the impedance matching. Impedance Z equals to unit of the impedance Z equal means is ohm. Okay, that impedance contains your resistive portion as well as reactance means reactive portions. Okay, so you know that there is a capacitive reactance or inductive reactance. Okay, capacitive reactance Xc equal to what happened 1 by j omega c. Okay, another one is what happened for inductance XL equal to what happened j only j omega L. Okay, that omega portion is what angular frequency. You can write that omega 2 pi f. Okay, so what happened to j 2 pi f into L, or another one is 1 by j 2 pi f into C. Okay, so you know that you can understand, realize that both the quantity is related to the frequency. So frequency you can also able to measure by this method. Okay, so the its simplest form, the AC bridge can be thought of the derived form of the conventional DC Wheatstone bridge that I am telling. Okay, basic of the Wheatstone bridge derived form. Okay, and AC bridge is the basic form, consists of the 4 arms. Okay, and alternating power supply and a balance detector. So 3 important components are there. One is your 4 arms are there. Okay, then alternating power supply means AC power supply, and the balance detector means null detector. Okay, sources and the detectors in the AC bridge. What type of detector you are using? So normally for the selecting frequency that I am already discuss, that selection of the frequency, you can specify what type of detector you are going to be used. Okay, selected frequency and discrimination against harmonic frequencies. Okay, so based on it, you have to select the detectors. Okay, normally vibration galvanometer are most commonly used tune detector in the power frequency and low audio frequency range. For low frequency applications, you are using that vibrations galvanometer. So galvanometer pointer is vibrating. Okay, so you can understand that how much current is flowing. If there is no flowing of the current, so there will be no vibration. Second, how much ranges are there? Vibration galvanometer can be designed to work detector over the frequency range 5 Hz to 100 Hz maximum. 5 Hz to 100 Hz. They have high sensitivity and operated frequency for below 200 Hz. Okay, but if you want more accurate one, so what you need to use? So you can use some headphone. Okay, headphone or audio amplifiers. Okay, up to 3 to 4 kilohertz. Okay, audio amplifier you can use up to 3 to 4 kilohertz. So popularly balanced detector in AC bridges frequencies 250 hertz and above up to 3 to 4 kilohertz. Transistor amplifier with frequency tuning facilities. Okay, another one is transistor amplifier with frequency tuning facilities can be very effectively used as the balance detector with AC bridges. With the proper tuning, this can be used to operate the selective band of frequencies with high sensitivity, such as detector can be designed to operate the range is up to 10 Hz to 100 kilohertz. So based on your applications, okay, based on your applications, you can select the detectors. Okay, what based on the frequency applications of the sources, you can select the detectors. Okay, so it is just for your information. Okay, now that what are the basic structure of the Wheatstone bridge? Here you can see the basic structure of your bridge circuit. Okay, so where you know that 4 arms are there, that I have already discussed, that AB is your one arm, another arm is BD. Okay, so AB, AC. Okay, 2 arms are there. Then BD and CD. Total 4 arms are there. That is number 1. What are the basic considerations? Okay, 4 arms are required. Then detector. Okay, so you know the detector terminal, detector is connected in between B and C. Okay, it is connected in between B and C. Okay, and finally one sources is required. So this is your AC source. Okay, one AC source is required, that is your V. Okay, alternating source is there, it is required. Okay, AC source is required. Okay, so what happened for equilibrium conditions? For equilibrium conditions means Stable means when the detector is not means pointing out anything, means detector gives you the null value that B and C, these two potential will be equipotential point, okay, at balance conditions or equilibrium conditions, okay, that is called balance condition or equilibrium condition, zero response from the detector. Okay, so the zero response from the detector means there is no current flowing in this path. So if there is no current flowing in this path means whatever current is flowing through AB path, same current also flowing from B to D, means B point to D point. So for the balance condition that I1 and I3 both will be same. Okay, basically there will be no current flowing through the detector point. Okay, and then AC. Okay, similarly that I2 equal to similar value of your I4. Basically, there will be no current flowing from C to B terminal. Okay, so I2 and I4 will be the same one. Okay, what is the impedance of AB? AB arm impedance is Z1. Okay, impedance of the part AC part is Z2, impedance of BD part is Z3, and impedance of CD part is Z4. So four impedances are there. So if there is equipotential points B and C, so definitely V1 will equal to V2. Am I right? Okay, I think all of you are able to get it. So why V1 equal to V2? Basically B and C is equipotential point for the balance condition. No current flows through the null detector. Okay, so there is no potential difference. There is no potential difference across the detector. In the other words, the potential points of B and C are the same. That's why it is called equipotential point. Okay, this to be achieved if voltage drop from A to B equal to the voltage drop to A to C.
Excuse me,
Okay.
sir.
Tell me.
Also, whether AC bridges in the syllabus or not.
I'm not getting you. Please
Sir, I'm
repeat it.
asking that whether AC bridges in the syllabus of mid semester is
What is your name?
Gaurav.
So why you are interrupting me? Right now I am in the full pace that I am in discussing something. So why are you interrupting me? Is it the important question related to your bridge? Gaurav?
No, sir.
Just for
No,
wait.
sir.
Just for wait. That preliminary portion will be there for the exam. That's why I am taking the class. I'm in
So,
the
sir,
full pace. You are interrupting me, and you are asking before the class. I have already discussed. I have already just beginning of the class. I have already discussed that preliminary portions of the AC bridge will be there. It's related to the Wheatstone bridge. There is nothing complicated points. It will be there in the exam. So still you are asking me. That is not right, na? After completion, you can ask me. You have to maintain some minimum means minimum decorum. Are you getting my point?
okay, sir.
If it is relevant to your course, means any doubt is there, you can ask me. So that is relevant to our teaching right now. After completion of the class, you can ask me. There is no problem. Okay, are you getting my point, Gaurav?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Be focused on this point. Okay, that is very simple thing. Okay, so now that I am telling that it is equipotential points, that is V1 and V2. Okay, means equipotential point is B and C. So V1 and V2 both will be the same. Okay, potential is same. So if both the potential is same, then what happened? You know that we can write that such a manner. So that bar sign is there. Basically, we are considering the amplitude as well as the argument. Okay, that's why the bar sign is there. Angle also be there. Okay, but for our consideration, we can also write V1 equal to V2. Okay, but you have to think that it's a complex quantity. Why complex quantity? Basically, these are the AC quantity, means it contains the amplitude as well as the angle. Okay, simple portions are there. Okay, so V1 equals to how much value is there? I1 current is passing through that AB terminal. So I1 Z1, that is your V1, the potential across your, what is V1? Potential across the path AB. Okay, so I1 current into Z1, I1 Z1 equals to V2 is how much value is there? V2 is I2 Z2. Okay, so I1 Z1 equal to I2 Z2. Okay, so now you know that I1 equal to I3 as per the convention means balanced conditions. Okay, so I1 equal to I3. So how much value of I3? I3 equal to that. Total current is how much, total voltage is V. You know that V voltage equals to what? V is appear across these two terminal. Okay, so V equals to how much value is it there? So V equals to V1 plus V3. Okay, so you can easily write down that V equals to V1 plus V3, or you know that V equals to appear across the path A and D. Okay, now Z1 and Z3 are in series for balanced condition. What is the value of I1 or R3 or I3? I1 equals to I3 equals to V whole divided by Z1 plus Z3. So you are getting that value I1 equal to I3 equal to V whole divided by Z1 plus Z3. Okay, so now what is the value of I2? Okay, similarly you can also find out I2 equal to I4. So I2 equal to I4 equal to V whole divided by Z2 plus Z4. Okay, Z2 plus Z4, you are getting that value. Okay, so now you can replace everything, means I1 and I2 value from these two equations. So I1 equal to how much? V by Z1 plus Z1 plus Z3, and I2 equal to V by Z2 plus Z4. So if you replacing them, okay, so that is coming, you are getting the expression. So both of the side V part is common, so you can cancel each other if V not equals to 0. Okay, so now you can cross multiplications and finally you will get the value of Z1 Z2 plus Z1 Z4 equal to Z2 Z1 and Z2 Z3. Okay, so these 2 points again same, Z1 Z2, Z1 Z2 this component, and Z2 Z1, these 2 components are the same. Okay, so you can cancel both of the side. Okay, so finally you will get the expression equals to Z1 Z4 equal to Z2 Z3. So Z1 by Z3 equal to Z2 by Z4. Okay, just like your Wheatstone bridge. So Z1 Wheatstone bridge equals to P by Q equal to R by S. P by Q equal to R by S. Okay, so P by Q equal to R by S. So similarly here you are writing that Z1 by Z3 equal to R by S means R2 by unknown one is Z4. But in this case you cannot say like that only Z4 arm is unknown. But in Wheatstone bridge the Z4 arm was unknown. Okay, here any of the arm may be unknown. Okay, no problem on it. You have to calculate the impedance and you have to replace that equation and you need to calculate the exact value. Okay, you can also using the same formula for admittances in place of impedances. Similar thing also be there. Now you know that everything, that bar sign is there. You know that bar sign is there means amplitude as well as the angle. So you can write down such a manner. So Z1 bar you can write down Z1 with angle of theta1. Z4 you can write Z4 bar, you can write Z4 with the angle of theta 4. Okay, and Z2 Z3 you can write Z2 theta 2 into Z3 theta 3. Okay, so multiplication means addition of the angle Z1 Z4 theta 1 plus theta 4 equal to Z2 Z3 with the angle theta 2 plus theta 3. Okay, so the requirement made just like that one. So Z1 Z4 equal to Z2 Z3 with the angle. Okay, so as simple as it. So all of you please write down that problem. One example is there. Okay, by replacing the value you can calculate that you can calculate that exact unknown parameters. Okay, unknown elements. So what is that example? In a AC, in the AC bridge circuit shown in the figure, that figure is already given. The supply voltage is 20 volt. Okay, and 500 hertz. So voltage is given, angle also means frequency also given. Arm arm AB is 0.25 microfarad. Okay, pure capacitance, and draw the circuit. Okay, arm BD is 400 ohm, 400 ohm for the pure resistance. Okay, pure resistance is there, and arm AC has a 120 ohm resistance with arm AC means which arm AC, that is your arm AC. So AB is given how much, that voltage is there, it is 20 volt 500 hertz voltage. AB arm is given how much value, AB arm is given 0.25 pure capacitance, 0.25 microfarad pure capacitance. Then AC arm is there, AC arm, BD arm is there. BD means this arm, BD is this arm, Z3. Z1 is given point, you have to make it angle, not exactly Z1. Okay, arm that you have to convert in 2 pi XL, you have to calculate the value of XL. Okay, Z means here directly coming XC. Okay, 1 by 2 pi F into 1 by 2 pi F into C. You have to replace the value. You know the frequency value is 500. Okay, and C is 0.25 into 10 to the power minus 6. So that is your Z1. Then Z2, BD is what? BD is Z3. Okay, BD is Z3. This is BD arm. Z3 is given 400 ohm. Then AC arm is there. AC arm means this arm. AC arm means Z2. Z2 is 120 ohm. Okay, parallel with 0.15 microfarad. So 0.15 microfarad means how much reactance is there, you have to calculate. Then it is parallel with your 120 ohm resistance. Simple calculation, make it a Z2. Okay, equivalent value is Z2. Find the resistance and inductance or the capacitance of the arm CD. That CD arm is there. So CD arm, that one, that Z4 you have to calculate. Okay, as a series circuit. I hope all of you are able to realize the problem. Now that portion I am going to discuss. So impedance arm is AB arm, impedance is given. So Z1 you have to calculate first, 1 by 2 pi F C1, that portions. Okay, you can replacing, it is coming 1273 ohm. Okay, that omega portion is not considered for this calculation. Finally they have written with the angular form. So omega is there in denominator. So if it is coming numerator, so J term is not there, so it is coming minus J. So that's minus J means 90 degree, minus 90 degree ohm. So that is directly you can get. Okay, Z3 is already there, impedance on BD, Z3 is 400 ohm already there. So if it is purely resistive and complex notation, Z3 equal to angle is 0 degree ohm. Okay, so impedance of the arm AC containing 120 ohm resistance in parallel with 0.15 microfarad capacitor. Okay, so 0.15 microfarad capacitor means it is parallel with your 120 ohm. So directly you are getting that value. Okay, Z2 equals to how much? R2. Now multiplications. Okay, that is parallel. So both of the cases, R2 parallel X, R2 parallel XC. Okay, so it is like that, R2 into XC whole divided R2 plus XC. Okay, so if you simplify the equations, so directly it is coming like that, R2 into XC whole divided by R2 plus XC. So XC, you are dividing XC from numerator as well as denominator. So numerator, which portion will be there? Only R2 portion will be there. In denominator, R2 plus XC is there. So how much value will be there? R2 divided by XC plus 1. Okay. Now R2 divided by XC means XC value equals to how much? 1 by 2 pi F into C. So, J portion also be there. Okay, J is already there. 1 by 2 pi J 2 pi F into C. Okay, so it is R4 by something. Okay, R4 by 1 by something. So it is directly coming this term. Okay, J 2 pi F directly coming J 2 pi F C2 into R2. So I hope all of you are able to understand what am I telling. Okay, so finally you are replacing the value of R2. Okay, and how much value is there? 1 plus J 2 pi F. You are replacing the value of frequency. Okay, and capacitor value is there, 0.15 into 10 to the power minus 6 into 120. Okay, so directly it is coming denominator. So how much value is there? 119.8 into the angle is minus 3.2 degree. Okay, so directly we will calculate the angle also. Okay, so in this calculation R2 you are considering 0 degree, for J it is currently minus 9. Then you can calculate, so directly this angle will come. Okay, so now you know for the balance conditions Z1, Z4 equal to Z2, Z3. For the impedance of the arm CD required for the balance is Z4 equals to how much? Z2, Z3 whole divided by Z1. So you are replacing the value. Z1 value is there 1273 with the angle of -90. That is your Z1. Okay, Z2 also be there. Okay, Z2 value is given, so 119.8 with the angle of -3.2 degree ohm. So directly you are replacing all the value. Okay, and then you are able to calculate the value of Z4. Okay, so multiplications means addition of the angle, division means subtraction of the angle. Okay, by that convention you are using that one. Okay, so directly you are getting the value, and that Z4 value is coming 37.65. Okay, 37.65 with the angle of 86.8. So that Z4 is your impedance. Okay, here you can see the positive angle of the impedance, indicate that branch consists of a series combination of resistance and inductance. Okay, positive angle is there, that's why impedance nature is, it is resistance and inductance. So how much value of resistance and inductance you need to find out. You know that Z equals to what? R plus J X. Okay, so root actually R plus Jx, if you consider in root under means amplitude value, mod Z equals to how much? Root under R square plus X square. Okay, and angle you can also find out, but here directly getting it is in polar form, directly we are getting the angle. So real part will be there, so that is your impedance. So 36.65, 37.65 cos 86.8 degree. So that directly real component is there, it is coming 2.1 ohm, that is your resistance, and reactive component will be there, reactive component in the form of sine theta. So inductive reactance unknown branch, it is in sine theta, directly 86.8 sine 37.65 into sine 86.8. So directly it is 37.59 ohm. Okay, inductance of the unknown branches L4 is there. So directly you are getting that, you know that x4 equal to 2 pi f into L4. Okay, so 2 pi f into L4 means you are directly able to get the L4 value 37.59 whole divided by 2 pi into 500 Henry. So directly you are getting that inductance value 11.97 millihenry. Okay. So I hope you are able to understand how to calculate that, how to find out that unknown parameters. Okay, unknown parameters of your bridge. Okay, any of the arm you can find out. Just like that, it is called that Maxwell inductor bridge. Okay, so in this Maxwell inductor bridge, we are going to normally measure by the self inductance. Okay, self inductance is there. We are going to measure by Maxwell inductance, which means you can see there are definitely there are four arms. Okay, AB, then BD, another one is AC, another one is CD. Okay, so you have to, there is some unknown inductance. So L1 is your unknown inductance. Okay, so you have to calculate that unknown inductance L1. And what is your R1? R1 is the impurities, means sometimes what happen, inductance having some internal resistance. Okay, that is called impurities. So that impurities you have to calculate. Okay, so that that you have to calculate. Okay, so that value of L1, that means here you can understand that Z1 arm is unknown arm. Okay, that you have to calculate, and the related phasor diagram you need to draw. How we are getting that value? Okay, so you know that what is Z1? Z1 equals to how much value? R1 plus JL1. Okay, R1 plus JL1. You know that Z1 by how much value? That Z1 by Z3 equal to Z2 by Z4. Z1 by Z3 equal to Z2 by Z4. What is here you can see for balance curve Z1 by Z3. So your Z1 is R1 plus JL1, J XL1. Okay, or you say like that R1 plus J omega L1. That is your J1, Z1. What is your Z3M? Z3M is only R3. So Z1 by Z3. So R3. R1 plus J omega L1 whole divided by R3 equal to Z2 by Z4. Z2 equal to how much value? R2 plus J omega L2. R2 plus J omega L2 whole divided by Z4. Z4 is there, it is only resistance. Now you are cross multiplying. Okay, cross multiply, you will get the expressions. Okay, you know that identity in your plus 2 level, that's very simple. Identity. For identity, what we are doing? For identity, we are comparing the equivalent portions. Means here we are comparing the real part. Okay, so real part is R1, R4 and R2, R3. So we are equating the R1, R4 equal to R2, R3. So that is our identity portions. And complex conjugate portions means complex portion means imaginary portion, that is J omega L1 R4 equal to G omega L2 R3. Directly we can also use it. Okay, so two identity from this identity circuit, we are equating the real part as well as the imaginary part. Okay, so directly it's coming J to R1 R4 equals to R2 R3. So again R1 by R2 equals to R3 by R4. And from the imaginary part, it's related to the inductance or capacitance. Here we are using the inductance, that's why inductance. Measurement of self inductance. Okay, so we are going to discuss about unknown inductance measurement. Okay, that's why L component is there. L1 by L2 equals to R3 by R4. So directly we are getting that how much value R1 by R4, R2 equal to R3 by R4 equal to, now you can see that L1 by L2 equal to R3 by R4. So both the portion is common. This portion is common for both the equations. Okay, so directly you can write R1 by R2 equal to R3 by R4 equal to L1 by L2. So what is the unknown quantities can be balanced calculated as? So unknown quantity means L1 is your unknown. L1 and R1 is unknown. Okay, so L1 and R1 is unknown. So what is the equation of L1? L1 equal to L2 into R4, R3 by R4 from these equations. Okay, and R1 also unknown. R1 equals to R2 into R3 by R4. So simple combinations. Okay, that you can find out. Now the important portion is that, so if you want to draw the phasor diagram, okay, how do you draw it? Okay, so normally what happens when we are drawing the phasor diagram? So one parameter normally we are considering as the reference. Okay, first we have to find out the reference one, then we are going to draw the other components based on you know that not components, other variable you can say like that, or other parameters. Okay, based on your reference one. Okay, so which portion you are considering the reference? So I1 we are normally considering the reference for the balance conditions. Okay, that what is the fundamental thing for the balance condition? I1 and I3. Okay, both are same. So that's why I1 equal to I1. Sorry, I1 equal to I3 for the balance condition. That's why that I3 is replaced by I1. Okay, so first we are considering I1 is our reference one. So reference one normally considered in our x-axis, and the phasor diagram is rotating anti-clockwise. Okay, so normally that is our conventions. Okay, so it is rotating anti-clockwise. Okay, so what we will do? So I1 is our reference one. So then what is you know that V3 and R3. V3 equal to what? I1 into R3 equals to your V3. So in the resistive path, okay. So resistive path, what happened? The current and voltage will be in phase. Okay. That means V3 and I1 should be in the same phase. That's why you have considered one value, that is your V3. V3 is there. Okay. Now you know that equipotential point, that V3 and V4 both will be same for the balance condition. Basically B and C are the equipotential point. So V3 for balance condition, V1 equal to V2 and V3 equal to V4 for the balance conditions. So if it is your V3, so definitely equals that value also equal to V4. Now what is the value of V4? V4 equal to I2 into R4. Okay, V4 equal to I2 into R4. So that means there is no angle difference in between I2 and V4. And V4 equal to V3, V3 equal to I1 equal to R3. So there is no angle difference between I1 and I2. So both are in phase. That's why you are also draw the I2 current in phase with your I1. So V3 equal to V4, so I1 equal to I1 R3 equal to I2 R4. So both are in phase. So I1 and I2, they are two also the in phase. Okay. Now you have to draw the current. Now you have to draw the value of V1. Okay. So same current is flowing through the I1, means I1 current is flowing through R1 and L1. So now you know that I1 and means I1 R1 means there will be no difference. There will be no phase difference in between I1 R1. Basically multiplications of I1 R1. So you can draw, you can extend that value up to I1 R1. Okay, that is your I1 R1. Okay. Now we have to calculate the V1. So V1 equal to what? I1 R1 plus I1 R1 plus J I1 omega L1. Okay, you know that omega means J, omega means that J contain a plus 90. So 90 degree leading. Okay. So what is the value of another component? That means omega L1. Basically that J part is there, means plus 90 degree. So it is coming 90 degree ahead, means it is from 90 degrees. So you are getting that point. That point is J omega L1. So you are directly getting the value of V1. You can add these 2 points, means you can add these 2 points. So directly you will get the value of V1. Okay. So now you know the equilibrium point V1 equal to, means balance condition, V1 equal to V2. So that point similar to V1 equal to V2. That V2 equal to how much value? I2 R2 plus J I2 omega L2. Okay. So I2 R2 also be same here. Okay. Basically superimposing in, means both of the thing will be superimposed. Okay. And that also, that arm also be omega L2 omega I2 L2. Okay. So it is your V1 V2 and it is your V3 V4. Now what is the total value of V? So you are adding, vector addition will be there. So adding that parallelogram, you can draw the parallelogram. So directly you will get the value of V. I hope you are able to understand the phasor diagram. Is there any doubt in this phasor diagram? Please ask me. If there any doubt, you please ask me. Is there any doubt in this phasor diagram? Bishoy? Shiv Sundar, am I audible from your end?
Yes,
Sir, that V1 equal to V2, can you explain again?
Tell me again.
So that V1 equal to V2 part which you are telling, that one can you explain again? Means how
Here
V1
you can
equal to V2?
see, can you see this stuff now? Can you able to see this slide? V1 equal to V2. Why V1 equal to V2? That is the equipotential point. B and C is the equipotential point. That means balance conditions. Okay. So for the balance condition, the potential across AB equals to same the potential across AC. Okay. So that's why
Yes, sir.
V1 equal to V2. Okay, so V1 equal to V2 over there. Okay, V1 equal to V2. So definitely, so rest of the portions, that V2 component also be similar to your means superimposing of your V1 components. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir, I got that.
Okay, okay. Is there any doubt? Anybody having any doubt? All of you able to understand? Shiv Sundar, are you able to understand? Ovilip Shah? Okay, So I hope that all of you are able to understand that portion. Okay. So then. So that up to that portion I have already discussed. Okay, up to this slide you have that means Maxwell self inductance means Maxwell bridge. Up to this portion your exam will be there up to this bridge calculations by using Maxwell inductance bridge. Okay, so I hope that part is not so much complicated. It is very simple.